Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined as always by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Pretty nice slate tonight on Friday night for you guys. Another great article on playpicks.com from Nate with some best bets in there for you, which we'll get into. Also going to drop a gift card opportunity for you guys out there, so make sure you are liked and subscribed to the video, and then jump into the comments with the total as we'll give it to you here in just a moment. And then, as always, if you need a FanDuel or a DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and check out those local listings in your area, such as what we're about to drop for you right now. Nate, let's get into those lines.
Yes, sir. Nice fun Friday here to bet on some NBA. And it starts with the Pacers minus 4.5 at Magic. Wolves plus 9 at Celtics. The Grizzlies right now minus 1.5 at Knicks. Bulls sitting at plus 2 at the Hawks. Sixers minus 6 at the Pelicans, who are still missing Brandon Ingram. He could return tonight. Hornets are plus 8.5 at the Bucks with Giannis questionable to doubtful, depending on reports. Spurs plus 8.5 at Nuggets in an immediate rematch there. The Wizards, who have Bradley Beal back, are plus 4.5 at Warriors. And the Rockets have been bet down to plus 12.5. So I'm not the only one crazy enough to think that 14-point spread was a little ridiculous, considering the Clippers' level of effort against teams that they don't necessarily respect. I mean, it's sort of just people hedging right now. The Clippers are on a back-to-back. Obviously, they've come off a bunch of competitive games, and they just won a big one at the Suns. I think if we could just bet on who will rest, you could get great odds on Kawhi, Paul George, and or Rondo just sitting tonight. Either way, when the Clippers play guys, they're only 18-16 against the spread after a win. They're only 4-4 against the spread in their last 8 when double-digit favorites. They just don't tend to respect teams that don't draw their respect. Whereas the Rockets are, even without John Wall, they've been competitive lately because they have Christian Wood back. They're actually 9-7 when he's in the lineup, and they've been competitive in 7 straight games when he plays at least 30 minutes. You know, he worked his way back from that ankle injury, and now he is that difference maker. They've covered in 6 straight on the road against winning teams, including a surprising win against Dallas. 10-10 against the spread overall as road underdogs. And their last 7 losses have just not been as embarrassing as we were accustomed to in that skid without Wood. They're only by 7.7 points per game. So I think there is some value there. And as you laugh, Josh, you could even tease it up to plus 17 and feel great. I mean, that's absolutely a strategy you could employ, though.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it is weird. I will say that we saw some 50-point blowouts at an incredible pace recently. So, there have been some blowouts, but you're right about Houston coming back in a way recently that's less than putrid. And I never trust the Clips after a win this season in the way that they bring it and have been bringing it. You're totally right. So I'm going to stay away from it, man. But I love that we're not just going for these favorites here and we're finding some value in some of these dogs. Speaking of which, it's a small spread that I'm going to take this underdog, my New York Knickerbockers, taking on the Grizzlies. I understand the Grizzlies have been incredibly hot recently. They are the best offensive team in their last 3 in terms of 126th offensive rating. It's incredible. But, they are going to have some injuries tonight. They are for sure without DeAnthony Melton and Justice Winslow. Brandon Clark and Gorgie Deng are actually doubtful as well. That does not bode well for them, obviously. This is their 4th game in 6 days. And that never, is never a good thing when you're coming playing New York, who is a team that's just going to muck it up, beat you up down low, as they are, the 3rd best defense in the league, and Memphis is the 6th best defense in the league, which has been their sort of calling card this year. However, their calling card on offense has been turning defense into offense. They have the most fast break points per game in the league, which is where the Knicks excel on defense. They allow the 3rd least fast break points to their opponents. They also have the 3rd best field goal percentage defense. Both from mid-range and down low points in the paint. They allow the 3rd least there as well. So that's exactly what Memphis does. They score the highest percentage of their points off of mid-range shots and 2-point field goals in general. So that's exactly what the Knicks don't allow. I really like the Knicks to be able to muck this game up, take that plus 1.5 points. I'm happy with it. I feel the money line as well. I think Memphis is due for a game right now with the injuries that they have and the amount of games they've been playing recently and how they play with that super fast tempo. We're relying on those fast break points, like we said. I don't think they're going to be able to get those tonight, and I think you'll see the Knicks be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Gorgie Dang, first of all, because he's now on the Spurs. I know that there's a glut of front court depth there for Memphis, so I forgive you for forgetting about that little trade.
Thank you.
But yeah, like the angle there in terms of the Knicks denying the Grizzlies in the paint. I think that's why the under is pretty appealing at 215. Memphis has been really good against the Eastern Conference, but I think, they might be a little tired at this point, and with those guys nicked up, no problem taking the Knicks tonight. Then the team that we've been riding, for a couple games now, the Chicago Bulls on a back-to-back at Atlanta, but Atlanta is the one shorthanded. John Collins, DeAndre Hunter still out. Clint Capella missed last game, which was a loss for them, and he's questionable along with Danilo Gallinari. In their last 8, Atlanta's defense has been very poor, 24th in terms of rating. They're 22nd in rebounding rate. They're allowing 117 points per game. And their last 3, they've ratcheted up the pace to 5th, and they allow the 4th most paint points at home. So what does that all mean? It means that Vooch and Levine, who are finally starting to click in their last 3, really ramping it up for the Bulls in terms of scoring 116 points per game in their last 3 wins. They're both going to eat. I mean, I would love to take some Vucevic props, especially if you think Capella or if he's ruled out, or you think he's just not healthy enough. You can get a Vooch double-double in a win at plus 220 on FanDuel. You can look at his individual props. Levine has also had a lot of success against Atlanta, 24.5 points per game his last 8, and he looks healthy. You're coming off a pretty big game last time out, and doing a really good job distributing the ball lately too, which just speaks well to their overall offense. So I'm looking at a Bulls team that, did you know, averages the 3rd most points per game on the road, 116. And their team total is 113.5 right now at a Hawks team that we mentioned has been struggling defensively. And you look at the Bulls, they've won 5 straight in Atlanta, and they're road darlings with a 13-4 record against the spread on the road. Not only looking at a Bulls win, but expecting good points here. So I like their team total.
Yeah, we've been right on with the Bulls so far since they got Vooch. We did say it would take a few games for them to get used to it, each other. Zach LaVine missed a few there at the beginning of Vooch's tenure there with the Bulls. So, now they've been coming on strong in their last 3 games, as you mentioned, which have been nice wins. That Vooch and LaVine have combined for about 47 points or so. For the 7 games they played together, it's about 43. So they definitely upped that average recently, which brings us to the gift card, Nate. We are going to throw that out there. If you can guess the combined total points of Nikola Vucevic tonight and Zach LaVine, drop that in the comments. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to the page to be eligible to win that gift card, and give us that total in the comments. We'll shell out however many gift cards of however many people guess that correctly. But I do like them both to be able to score tonight, and I'm definitely going to follow you and keep riding the Bulls right now against a struggling Hawks team. And then another game, Nate, that is going to be a repeat of 2 nights ago. We've got the Spurs and the Red Hot Nuggies. And really, I should say the complete opposite of the Red Hot Spurs. They are losers of 8 of their last 10. And in their last 6 games, they're 1-5 straight up and against the spread. 3rd worst net rating in the league at minus almost 8. And really, they can't shoot threes. That's what we saw happen in the 3rd quarter on Wednesday night. They were hanging around with Denver until it just turned into, at the end of the 3rd quarter, a 23-6 run for Denver, as the Spurs just went completely cold from 3, went about 1 for 8 in that time frame, and just shot a horrible percentage from the field in general, under 40. So, when the Spurs go cold, which they're liable to do each and every game, the Nuggets do not. You've seen what they've done since they've gotten Aaron Gordon. Even without Jamal Murray in a couple games, in the 6 games that Aaron Gordon has played, Jamal Murray's missed a couple of those. He's questionable tonight, so that 7-point spread scares me a little bit, despite the fact that, Denver's offense has been cruising lately, third overall in most major shooting categories from all over the floor. So I don't think the Spurs can really hang with them. I hate when there's these back-to-backs of teams playing each other 2 games in a row. It feels fluky. So I might take that 7 points, especially with Jamal Murray questionable to play tonight. I might just take that right now. I'm going to tease it down to about, what can I get that? About 2.5 points right now. If I take 4 there, and then I'll add the Chicago game and give Chicago a few points as well. Tease those games together, still get about even money at FanDuel and DraftKings. I feel really good about that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the back-to-back situation, especially with the Spurs and their coaching adjustments, is kind of a red flag for me that I don't feel super confident backing on any sort of result. But yeah, because they struggle shooting from 3, and that's all Denver's giving up lately. And this game previously went to just a 202 total. I would look at under 220 as my preferred bet there. I do expect the Nuggets to pull away again. I just don't think they're going to cover 8 points necessarily. It was pretty tight last time in terms of them winning by 10. I don't know. I think the Spurs make a few adjustments there. A game that I'm just going to quick hit here, but is actually my most confident in the article, is the Bucks and Hornets going over. It's dropped down from 226 to 223 right now. I guess because the Bucks are expected to be without Giannis. Yes, they score fewer points without Giannis, just 114, which is still pretty impressive. And they shoot 42% from 3 without him. These are both teams that have been awful defending the 3 all year. Charlotte actually gives up the most 3-point attempts, second most makes in the league. We know about Milwaukee at home. They are second in pace since the All-Star break. They average 119 at home on the season. And they've gone over in 9 of their last 10 against teams with records of 500 or worse, which is key here. I know Charlotte's 2 games over 500, but without LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward, and at the end of their 6-game road trip, they are not what we would call a choice opponent. I like Milwaukee just to top their team total 116 and help that get well over the 223 total.
Nice.
And yeah, and from DFS perspective, if Giannis is out, Bobby Portis would be a preferred play there. And I like another value power forward on the other side, Jalen, not Jaden McDaniels, who's on the Wolves, Jalen McDaniels on the Hornets, 4.3K. They've been real shorthanded, so he's getting a lot of run. I think if Jamal Murray's out, Will Barton, good play. I mean, good play regardless, really. If Lonzo Ball's out, Eric Bledsoe, good play for the Pelicans. Zach LaVine, we touched on. He's still a little underpriced as he works his way back from an ankle injury. And a GPP strategy I like. We didn't talk about the Warriors-Wizards game, but that has a 239 total. Bradley Beal is back. He has 1 game under his belt. I think we could see something of a Brad Beal, Steph Curry duel. If you can afford Westbrook on that side of the duel, great. But Beal is cheap, and I think you can get some really good production from both those guys.
Agreed. Yep. Brad Beal's back in the lineup, meaning Washington Wizards overs are back to hitting. So stay away from those unders for that team. No, good stuff for today, Nate. As we mentioned, make sure you jump into the comments, like and subscribe to be eligible to give us that gift card total of Vucevic and Zach LaVine's total points combined tonight. We'll be watching all these games with you guys and obviously back with another great show on Monday. As for this weekend, happy betting.